Hello and welcome to this week's Coaching for Self-Belief podcast with Andy and Pete. So Andy, we've got the beginning of the year tennis-wise, which is the Australian Open. There have been some fantastic matches and some stories from, especially with the men's tournament to do with focus and interference, from the quarterfinals on. So what did you notice? What stood out for you?
Around focus and interference. Well, the first match I tuned into was the Tsitsipas and Nadal match. And I think what I noticed there was, obviously, Tsitsipas's focus wasn't as intense in the first two sets as it was in the last three. And to turn that around was fantastic. I think a lot of it was probably to do with body language and posture and sort of feeling confident in himself, which then I didn't see in the next round. Don't know about you.
It seemed from his interviews that he's been working on that side of the game. And to me, I felt like I saw a difference in his body language. That he had a very definite way of walking positively, a little bit faster pace. That he was walking, he was looking up and his shoulders back, and very strong posture, which he'd anchored that to some very positive feelings, which managed to help him keep his self-belief, even though he was 2 sets down, which was remarkable.
So I was just wondering, in the next round, so you said about anchoring it. If you're tired, do you think that it's harder to anchor and to sort of come out and behave in that same way?
And anchors are associations. So that if you've got that body language and it's associated with feelings of self-belief and calm, focus.
How does tiredness sort of connect with that?
So,
and if you had a tough 5-set match,
the association would still work. So, and you could see he was still using that in the semi-final against Medvedev. So it was still working in the sense that he was getting those positive feelings from it that were helpful for him. But perhaps the tiredness just took the edge off his performance a little bit.
So nothing to do really with the feelings of confidence.
I think he kept that positive body language that was helping him all the way through. It seems like that's something that's really useful for him. It's funny because one of the people that took our zone training course, the feedback was that they think about how they could use the zone training to help people between the points. And it's that kind of thing is to think about where you put your attention between the points, how you're using your body, and to coach people around that can be just a game changer.
It's interesting because I had an experience many, many years ago where I came across this, that if you changed your posture, it can really affect the way that you feel about yourself. And I just decided to just focus on being upright, picking the balls up, coming up to the service line to serve, playing the point. And I smashed this guy about love and love. But it was a very strange thing because I didn't then replicate that. It was a one-off.
Okay, so
But it does work. I mean,
so to have that awareness and to use it, these things really help. So really great focus from Tsitsipas in that one. And it's always this balance, isn't it, between focus and interference, which goes back to the inner game principles. And then it was Medvedev that had the incredible focus in the semi-final and seemed to just, with his background of self-belief, just managed to let go on automatic pilot, trusted his serve. He talked about that. I think Jim Courier said in the interview at the end how, because he admitted that he felt nervous, so there was interference there that he admitted to. And Jim Courier asked him, and he said, well, I don't know what I do really. I don't know whether he was sort of fobbing him off a little bit and hiding the work that he's done, because I know he has worked with a psychologist.
Yeah. But
But
there
he
was
said,
a moment in the match, Pete.
he said, I just hope that the serve will come through, and I get an ace, and then I did get an ace, and that, so it can be helpful to have a really big serve, because that can help you to relax and trust that that you can get through the tough moments in a match.
I think the thing I found interesting about that match was also that when Tsitsipas went off to towel down at one point in the match, and I felt it was genuine, but Medvedev got a little bit riled by that, and then tried to play the game as well, and it didn't work so well for him. I remember that instance.
Yeah,
He just lost his focus.
Created interference for himself for that little part of the match. Yeah.
So the focus and interference is always shifting, and like we said with Nadal in that match, what was it? Well, no, sorry, getting to the final with Djokovic then. So Djokovic and Medvedev, it was like Djokovic had all the focus.
It's kind of what happened in the other two matches, but this time it was Djokovic's turn to have more relaxed focus and less interference.
And the one thing we were just talking about before we came on was about the fact that Medvedev might have felt that there wasn't any further to go for him. And we were talking also about when athletes make a breakthrough, that there's a part of them doesn't believe they can take that final step. And a friend of mine had done a bit of research and said that, sometimes people unconsciously or not, they fall over and have an injury. When they actually make a breakthrough, they then get injured. It's almost as if the self doesn't believe that the person themselves can actually reach those heights. Whereas Djokovic was in full focus, and
Djokovic for sure believed that he could win that Grand Slam title. So that kind of sets the background then to enable a player to have relaxed focus, which shows then in the clutch moments and in the really tough tight moments where he was able to just thread the eye of the needle with passing shots when he needed to. Just incredible focus. So it's always this. We have a model which hopefully I'll be able to put up on this podcast with the needle of focus and interference, and it's like just a needle that's always fluctuating between.
Pete, can I just say we came up with that on our way back from a BTCA workshop in Scotland.
That's right. Yeah.
I remember sitting there
when we were talking about it. Yeah.
We drew it down.
And just to look at it like it's this is the essence of it, and that focus interference needle is always moving, and what helps a player to have more focus, and what happens when a player dips into interference and then doesn't play so well because of it. And just to when you watch a tennis match, to watch through that lens of watching for focus and interference can bring a lot of information.
As you're saying that, I'm sure that present moment awareness, it's another topic, has something to do with that. That are you focused or are you suffering with interference? But I think that's another topic of debate around present moment awareness. Maybe we can talk about that in the next podcast.
That's getting into the whole area of mindfulness and non-judgmental awareness, and that'll be perhaps a longer podcast that we're looking to do on mindfulness and the inner game, the connection.
So what can coaches take away from this then, Pete?
For me, it's just to have that awareness of the dial on the dashboard, focus one way and interference the other way. And when we're coaching, to be aware of is our pupil focused or are they in interference, and then to find out what's going on for them. Where's your attention right now?
And likewise, coaches,
as well,
are we focused?
Yeah.
So or interfere? And I think that comes back to, are we in the present moment? But we'll probably discuss that in the next one, won't we? Yeah.
Because being in the present moment generally helps to reduce interference significantly. Just to ask yourself, what are you noticing right now?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. Yeah. Okay.
Very good. So enjoy experimenting with all of that, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks for watching.
Cheers, guys.